711 714 4459. For Channel Africa News, I'm Eva Chipa.
SABC News. The African Perspective. This is Peter Ndoro and Aurelie Kalinga on Rise and Shine, The African Perspective.
Here's a very interesting development. Africa is, by the end of 2024, set to launch its credit rating facility, the Africa Credit Rating Agency, ACRA. Now, in Lusaka, a two-day retreat on its operationalisation has been informed. The retreat, under the auspices of the Africa Peer Review Mechanism, APRM, and the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, has closed with various recommendations being made on how the African agency will operate. Channel Africa's Lusaka correspondent Arthur David Sukopo has been attending the retreat and gave us this endorsement and these endorsements and resolutions that were made.
It has been 2 full days of deliberating on Africa's credit rating and planning of the continent's facility, the Africa Credit Rating Agency, ACRA, at a retreat on the operationalization of the African Credit Rating Agency being held in Zambia's capital, Lusaka. The planned creation of the Africa Credit Rating Agency comes in the wake of concerns from African countries that the Big Three, Moody's, Standard & Poor's and Fitch, have been unfair on the African continent. Drawn from all corners of the continent, African Union member states deliberated on various matters pertaining to Africa's credit rating and the creation of own body. And the topics included ACRA in changing the global financial architecture, rebalancing investors' misconception on Africa, collaborative opportunities with Africa-based rating agencies, and the legal and regulatory framework side.
Countries, through ACRA, must advocate investment in the data infrastructure, including collection, data centers, and also the legal framework around this. Christopher
Wambek of Lions Head Global Partners talks on the creation of a portal that will, in real time, show economic and financial performance in each African country, as the 3 major rating agencies depend on the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, among others, to update their own online data, which sometimes is delayed, hence rating the country wrongly.
So what we're seeking to do is create a way, so 1, data goes up instantaneously. 2, it's very easy to compare between countries.
Several recommendations have since come forth from the retreat, such as the agency not being seen as a political reaction to the Big Three and ACRA not being a hostile entity, as being outlined by legal expert on credit ratings at the APRM Continental Secretariat, Dr. Meshek Mutize.
That this institution should be an independent owned, independent shareholding, and also it must be self-financed.
Ownership model is being agreed on being pan-African multilateral institutions as well as domestic and regional rating agencies in Africa with no attachment to the Big Three.
And the questions were raised in the AU platforms that if this institution is independently owned, what will stop the Big Three from going to acquire it? So that's part of the ideas that led us to recommend that there should be some Pan-African institutions that does not prioritize money in front of the idea and the mandate that this institution will have.
Models of structure and legal have also been discussed. With all things being equal around the roadmap, Africa is set to have its own credit rating agency by 31st December 2024.
Holding other things constant, we should be able to complete this process by end of this year.
Dr. Meshek Mutize is delighted with the Lusaka retreat.
Well, the retreat has been very successful. I think we have achieved all the objectives that we had set.
And Ambassador Albert Muchanga of the African Union Commission, AUC, asserts that once established, ACRA must have a strong footing on the African continent. Grace Ngulube is representative of the host, the Zambian government.
I am confident that with our collective efforts and commitment, we will be able to achieve our goal of enhancing Africa's financial stability and promoting economic growth.
Reporting for Channel Africa in Lusaka, Zambia, I'm Arthur Davis, Scopo.
Now, former South African President Jacob Zuma will not be able to stand as a candidate of the Umkhonto weSizwe Party in the May 29 elections. The IEC made its announcement whilst briefing the media on the outcome of a public objection process which took place on Tuesday and Wednesday this week. The Electoral Commission says that 31 objections were received from the public, alleging that 8 candidates were not eligible to run for the ballot due to having criminal records or convictions. 7 of these were dismissed. The grounds for Zuma's objection in his